jullie bedankt in ieder geval voor de tijd en heel veel succes.
Ja, bedankt.
Graag gedaan.
Oké, dankjewel.
Oké.
Succes.
Dank je. Dag. In upcoming Saturday, there's the Telegraph. It's a Dutch national paper, and they have a Saturday magazine called the Vrij magazine, and it will be an article about digital nomads across the world.
Yep.
And for the Netherlands, represented by our Felicia's. So, ambassadors of digital nomadery, with an accent on mad, the mad in nomad. That's us.
Yep.
So, if you're in the Netherlands, buy the Telegraph on Saturday if you want to see our interview with us.
Yep.
Hop in, babe, we're going.
Woohoo!
Well, your new friends from the Netherlands used to have a house left into the mountains, got an old RV for Penelope. She's in 1983. Well, your new friends from the Netherlands, bad Penelope. Pat loves taking pictures and Pat has left design. Penelope loves driving till the end of time. Delicious. If you like a vibe, please subscribe. Please subscribe. We're taking off from the camper spot. We've just been photographed by Chef Prince.
Yeah.
Chef Prince. So thank you, Chef. It was really a pleasure.
Well, buddies, we have a new addition to Penelope. Look. A swinging duck.
A swinging duck.
A waddling duck.
So buddies, during driving I took my foot off the gas and it was like the gas stayed on. Without my foot on it, it didn't reduce the speed. So that was a bit of a scare moment. I will see if it happens again. Almost like the pedal, the spring of the pedal or something. Maybe it's old. So, but if anybody knows what it could be, let us know in the comments.
there. Jeez, very dark. And then you look at that side, there's sunshine.
We're driving towards the storm. Look, a rainbow.
A rainbow.
A rainbow.
Let's look for that pot of gold. And look at the rainbow. I hope you can see it. It's magnificent.
Spectacular.
Yep. Go straight up into the air.
No, it's a very nice rainbow. Wow.
Awesome.
You can see it really well.
Yep.
Woohoo.
Nice. Awesome.
There's light clouds at the end of the dark clouds. Look, we just had the photographer this morning.
Photographer this morning and yesterday. Interview with Marjolein Schipper.
We went to the bakery, celebrate that we have some, that we had the interview with the newspaper. Hello, buddy.
Good morning.
Story time with Peter Pat. A few years ago, I worked at an advertising agency. It went bankrupt. And then I started for myself, and that was in March 2009. I started as being self-employed. And because the company went bankrupt, in the Netherlands, then you are entitled to unemployment benefits from the government. During that year, I took all the steps to work for myself, and I found some clients and everything. But at the same time, the unemployment contact agent I had required of me to also apply for jobs. And although I was not interested in applying for another job at the time, it is a requirement to receive the money. So in a way, you could say you are forced, if you want the money, you are forced to do whatever the agent of the government tells you to do, the employee. Even though it's not what you yourself want. So I told the agent, look, I want to go work for myself, and I already have assignments, and
Yes.
the time that I have to spend in looking for jobs I don't want is really a waste of time.
If you wanted to join their program to start for yourself, the money they would give you was a loan, so you had to pay it back.
True. The government's way of helping you start your own business is saying, we give you a loan, and if you fail, you pay it back with interest.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem as a good idea for me at the time to immediately go into debt. So I thought, if I'm gonna do this properly, I'm just gonna do it with my laptop, writing text, designing websites. I don't need any equipment. I just need a laptop that works. So I started, and in a way I was happy, but the times I was not happy was when the contact agent of the government came up with things for me to do. So they were like, then they ask you questions like, okay, Patrick, why do you think you don't have a job yet? And I was stupid enough to say, well, it might be because of my being overweight, that I don't make very good first impression, and I have to, in the first moment, people can think, whoa, he's overweight, he doesn't take care of himself. You start with 1 point disadvantage. I was like, well, that might be the case, but once I start talking and chatting with the people that interview me for the job, I can prove my worth, and I can still convince them Even though maybe I start with a disadvantage, I can still convince them that I could be the right person for the job after all.
Yeah. Isn't that what the whole interview is for?
If you're overweight, then you have to prove, in a way, you have to prove extra that you can be the right person for the job. But I did that a lot of times in the past. It was not my first job being overweight. I landed more jobs because of what I said in the interview and because of the things I had to show for.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent me on a weight losing program, and that was run by a woman who was overweight herself. Somebody who's overweight herself is not a good advertisement for a successful weight losing program from the government. But that's how governments do it. And I said, look, I lost weight before in the past. I know how to do it. I know why I gained it, and I know how to lose it. I don't need the government program for that. But they said, well, if you don't go to the program, we cut you off the money. So at that time I was like, okay, then I'll go. On the other hand, I had to send out, I had to apply for jobs. I had to apply for 5 jobs a week. So I sent out 20 job applications a month. So all that time I couldn't focus on my business for myself. And in a way I needed that money, I think. I thought at the time I needed it. But what happened was, I got invited, of course, a lot for job interviews because I have a great resume and I'm a great candidate for a lot of companies. So I got invited to a university on the other side of the country, in Delft, to work there as a university copywriter. And I applied for the job because I needed to prove that I wrote 5 job applications a week. Although I didn't want the job, I applied for it as if I wanted it. So I was really, in reality, wasting the time of the people of that university who were really looking for a strong candidate. I was wasting their time because I applied for a job I didn't really want. I went to the interview, and yeah, I had to do a lot of things. I had to be assessed, and I had to write test cases, and I aced all of that. So they offered me the job, and this was a high-paying job. It would earn me 4,000 euros a month, and it's pretty good for a copywriter. It was pretty tempting. Then in a way I was really happy because it's good for my ego if I land a job. Even though I didn't want the job, but I forgot about that I didn't want that job. I wanted to work for myself. So there I went to work at the university. It took me 4 hours in the morning to get there because of a hugely busy traffic. And basically it was a traffic jam as soon as I left my door until I reached the university and the other side of the country. It was basically one big traffic jam. So it took me 4 hours to get there, and also 4 hours to get home. So it was 8 hours in the car every day. And I didn't have a very good car. I just had a cheap tiny car that I hardly fit in at that time. So it was hurting me to drive. I had pain in my knees from being cramped up in the car, driving traffic jams, stopping, pulling up, stopping, pulling up. And I was really beginning to think, what am I doing? I wanted to be self-employed. One day I was driving towards work again, stuck in traffic, and I was thinking, why am I doing this job to begin with? How did I end up in this car, on this highway, in the traffic? And it was all because, it's a long story, but it was all because a government contact agent, an employee of the government assigned to me, told me to apply for a job I didn't want. So I was in a new job. Because of that person, I was in a new job on a street going somewhere I didn't want to be, all because somebody else told me to do that with my life. It was not my choice. And it was all because a government employee told me
You should do that.
So then I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. And if the result is that they're not gonna pay me anymore the government money, then so be it. No more shall I be going towards a job I don't want. So then I did something extraordinary.
Yes.
I saw a sign with Amsterdam on it, and I knew Petra was living there. So instead of to my work, I drove to Petra's and surprised her with a visit.
Yes.
And I told Petra, I'm not going to do that job anymore. I'd rather be with you.
Is so romantic.
Yeah, and from that moment on,
We live together.
if I say I don't want the money, I don't have any kids who suffer from my decision, and I don't have, in a way, a partner who will suffer from that decision. You had work at the time.
Yes.
So Petra had work at the time, so my decision to stop taking the government's money would not affect Petra, it would not affect any children I had, so it would only affect me. And I thought it would motivate myself more to become a successful copywriter. No, but all jokes aside, I decided that I wanted to be in charge again of my life. I didn't want to spend a lot of time searching for jobs I didn't want, because it feels really, that drains your energy. If you're looking for a job you don't want, and you even take the effort to apply there, and then go there to waste the people's time
Yes.
who interview you, because I know I'd never want to work here. I don't want to work there. So worst case scenario, you're faking that you want a job, so you're not being sincere.
Yep.
And worst case scenario, they think that you really want that job, and they hire you. That happened to me. I did get the job that I didn't want.
Yes.
I did get the job. I did land the job I didn't want. So that puts you in a strange position, because I was not really happy that I had that job. While other people who worked there, they were really happy with their jobs. It was their destiny to have that job at the university. But my destiny, I thought, just like in Star Wars, I thought my destiny is elsewhere.
Yes.
My destiny is becoming a YouTube star. No, I thought my destiny was working for myself. Moral of the story is, sometimes in life you have to really think about, am I happy doing what I'm doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Oh, we're attracting buddies again. Look, buddies, there's another buddy.
Another buddy.
So sometimes you just have to, at the beginning of the year is always a good time to ask yourself, let's check in with myself. Am I doing what I want to do? Am I in the place that I want to be at? And if not, then why am I there at all? Shouldn't I do something or make a decision that will lead to me being somewhere else next year this same time?
Exactly.
So if you're thinking if you're thinking I want to change in my life, then just make the change. Not only talk about it, not only fantasize about it, just do it. And of course everybody's situation is different, but it is possible.
Of course.
And if you have a partner who does or does not want to join you in your new adventure or career choice, it doesn't have to be travel, just bring it up for discussion and see how people react. I mean, I think if you have a nice partner, they will be supportive to you if you say, there's something else I want to do in my life, because your partner eventually wants you to be happy doing what you're doing.
Yep. They're leaving.
Buddy, you're leaving again, buddy. Here they go again. There is always that moment that you decide, am I gonna turn off my dream or continue my dream? Sometimes you have one shot, Eminem, 8 Mile, that movie, you have one shot, one opportunity, and you have to grab that opportunity. You have to make it, create it. Otherwise it's not gonna happen. And even if it's not gonna happen, even if you try and you fail, you learn stuff. You learn stuff and you can say, I tried it, I didn't make it, but I learned stuff. And with the learned stuff, the new things that you learned, maybe you get another chance.
Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, in one moment, would you capture it or just let it sleep? Well put.
Until the next video, buddies, think about that.
Yep.
Signing off, Peter Pat. If you like this talk, let us know and we will do more.
Yes. With coffee, of course.
With coffee, yeah. Let's make another cuppa.
Coffee talk.
You make, I make.